one of the things that I think is really important is if we show up, right? If we show up, we all got gobs of things going on. We show up, make sure our voices are heard, stand up for what we believe in, really, really important. So, got to have a little bit of fun. I had an awesome day yesterday. I got back in the saddle. And I actually could get up. It didn't hurt, none of that. And you know, seriously, our kids are just amazing. So, Wyatt is just doing an extraordinary job with the rodeo team. He took the team over 3 years ago, had 6 kids. Now he has 20 some on, and next year he'll grow to another 20. And you know, these kids are incredible. Had the chance to be with the rodeo team out in Shattern, at Shattern State, maybe early last fall sometime. These kids are just the salt of the earth. And when we got all finished, and of course they looked after me, there was no way I could ever fall, you know, they took really good care of me. But I said, so what, you got practice? No, we're gonna go out and build the arena today. Then we'll practice the rest of the week, because then these kids compete Friday and Saturday is their last one to make it to the Nationals in Wyoming. So that's pretty cool. You know, there's just a couple things I wanted to share that I think are really, really important. It's really cool having President Trump be our president, and having people that are like-minded. I've been to D.C. quite a few times, and then just found out late yesterday that we got invited to the White House tomorrow, so I've got to fly out early. I'll get back Thursday morning, mid-morning. There's an event bringing CEOs of manufacturers across the country in, and talking about being able to get away from the supply chain, creating our own. We have a project going on in Nebraska that we've been working on for almost the month after I met these folks, and their company's called Citronic. The goal will be that Citronic will get located in Nebraska City and in Falls City. It's a $7.5 billion project. They'll buy Nebraska ethanol, and they'll make polypropylene out of Nebraska's ethanol, Nebraska corn, which means plastics for toys. Nebraska football helmets will be made from Nebraska corn. It will be the first supplier of polypropylene in the United States, for crying out loud. So those are things that are really, really important, obviously. And then the other one that I wanted to share with you that's been pretty cool, because our voices are being heard. We put a lot of energy into building some relationships with cabinet members, one being Brooke Rollins, Secretary of Agriculture. She's an extraordinary lady, learning a lot, listening, trying to help wherever possible. I had a round table a month ago with about 35 agribusiness folks from across the state, from the Panhandle all the way across, and we had conversations about tariffs and what was going on, what was good about them, what was bad about them. So I said to the group, I said, look, I'll work to get a meeting with the secretary and make sure our voices are heard. So that happened a couple nights later. She gave me 45 minutes on a night, and we talked about all the things everybody in Nebraska talked about. And she said, Jim, would you do me a favor? Could you put this into a letter, so then to me, and then I can take it to the president? And so who'd have ever thought that we can have direct ties and making sure that our voices are heard? And I think that had something to do with the tariffs being paused for 90 days, maybe a couple, 3 days after that. So maybe what I'm simply trying to say, we show up, make sure our voices are heard, and we can get through. I'm 100% supporter of I believe it's really important we stay on President Trump's team, even though we're all getting dinged up on the short term, because when you think about how unfair the practices have been, I'm going to use a couple examples that I've witnessed firsthand in South Korea and Japan. This is amazing to me. Is anybody aware that the companies in South Korea and Japan have no antitrust laws? They don't have antitrust laws. Okay? So the companies in South Korea and in Japan, there's about 7. in Japan, 7 or 5 or 6 in South Korea, and they have grown massive, and they run the whole thing. Okay, and then we're inviting those companies to come do business here. They don't have antitrust laws. How do you think we're going to compete with them? Right? Now, we sell a lot of corn, or we sell a lot of beef, we sell a lot of pork, we sell a lot of stuff. Yet, guess what you don't see in South Korea or Japan? Not one American-made automobile. Not one. You know why? 100% tariff. So those are just examples of just out of control, crazy things that have happened, and that we have to get it there. We're going to get dinged up. I talked to somebody that has a really big ding this morning on bringing toys in from China, and they have a significant toy business. So hopefully there can be ways that we can get through this, but I think it's incredibly important that we stay on President Trump's team, that we be supportive, and then we can give some ideas to how we can lessen the load and how we can do it a little bit more effectively. So, and I think hopefully today everybody's feeling, I'm a believer as your governor that it's really, really important that we stand up and defend and protect all aspects of agriculture. I know we're maybe not 100% on the same page, but I'm really, really excited that we're going to get fake meat across the line. I absolutely, if you really, really read what those folks are trying to do, they're trying to attack us everywhere, and they have only one agenda, to put us out of business. So I'm really excited that we're going to get that across the finish line, that we're not going to have bioreactor meat being made in Nebraska, and that it's not going to be in grocery stores, and we're not infringing on anybody's rights. If somebody wants to eat it here, they can, and they can buy it. They're just going to have it dropped on their doorstep. So I'm really excited about where that's at. I hope everybody in the cattle country is excited about it today. As Sharon and I talked, we don't want to grow government. Labeling is a pain, and checking on more checkers, and it certainly didn't work for the dairy industry, right? They worked hard, and here we are, almond milk. And it's, as I like to say, it's almond nut juice, right? So I think it's important that we can all, we aren't going to agree, but once we get there, if we can all be on the same team and get behind it and be good. So I'm appreciative of that. So with that, I want to just, being governor, it's really cool getting to do proclamations, and we're doing more and more. It used to be that we'd do proclamations one day a month, and we're having such a response. We're actually doing them, I think this month we're going to have 3 different days of proclamations in 1 month. So it's really cool, great awareness. So awareness of the most important of all is beef, right? So, and the beef passport that we're here, that's a big deal. And, you know, wherever Sherry and I go outside of the country, there's only one thing everyone wants to do is talk about Nebraska beef. It's really cool, everywhere. We just hosted a group, was that last week? Czechia. Yeah, from Czechia, for the group that just treated us like kings when we were in Prague. And of course, what are they all fired up about is Nebraska beef. How can we do this and what you're learning? So it's what you guys are doing is really, really, I hope you realize how it's recognized all over the world. It's just really cool stuff. So let me say, whereas Nebraska beef producers reach new consumers around the world through global trade missions and by opening new markets and increasing opportunities that can benefit our communities and strengthen our economy. And where beef is incredibly nutritious, healthy diet, and when consumers eat beef, they support the industry and encourage growth of the good life. And whereas Nebraskans would like to recognize these achievements and show their appreciation of those in the beef community who contribute so much to the continued prosperity of our state, now therefore be I, Jim Pillen, Governor of the extraordinary state of Nebraska, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2025 as Nebraska Beef Month in Nebraska, and I do hereby urge all citizens to take due notice. Congratulations to everybody that makes things happen in all kinds of weather. We're really grateful. Congratulations. Okay, I'll ask Mrs. Anderson, please come on up, and thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for all you do for the beef.
Thank you. Well, it's an honor to be here to represent the Nebraska Beef Council today. May is a great month to grab your beef passport and enjoy a steak or a burger with your family and friends. It's also a good opportunity to thank the generations of ranching families that not only grow our nutritious beef, but do so by caring for the land and cattle with the best stewardship practices. We can also be proud because, like the governor mentioned, our Nebraska beef industry shares its product around the world by leading U.S. beef exports with our over $2 billion in sales last year. Nebraska Beef Council supports these endeavors with marketing programs, but we're also ready with industry information, nutritional facts, and recipes to help you celebrate Beef Month. Thank you.
Good afternoon. It's really not afternoon yet, but close enough, so I'm going to say good afternoon. I'm Dick Pierce, currently the president of Nebraska Cattlemen, and Nebraska Cattlemen is the largest grassroots policy organization solely dedicated to protecting the backbone of our state's economy, the beef cattle industry, and the hardworking producers that make it possible. Thank you to our friends and colleagues at Nebraska Beef Council, and also to Governor Jim Pillen for bringing us together today as we kick off May as Beef Month in Nebraska and celebrate the beef cattle community. You know, I've been around the cattle industry all my whole life. I've been an active producer for about 50 years, and I've seen a lot of people come and go for various reasons, but there's a lot of them that say, well, tomorrow I think I'm going to sell out and move to town and forget this whole mess. But even though they say that, it really doesn't ever happen, because the beef industry or cattle producing is in our blood, whether you're a cattle feeder or a cow-calf producer, whatever part you play in the industry, and we have a tendency to stick it out. That's just, it's in our blood, it's bred into us, and it's, I think, probably one of the greatest ways of life that there is. Even when days are long and things get pretty tough, you don't have enough money in the bank to make bills, and you've got to go beg the banker for a little bit more, it's still the best way of life that I can come up with. Anyway, here in Nebraska, we produce some of the highest quality beef products in the world, and we're proud to be the #1 beef exporting state in the nation. So thank you again to the Nebraska Beef Council and to Governor Jim Pillen, and don't forget to celebrate with us and eat beef today.
It's hard to believe, but there's still a lot left to be said about Nebraska beef. So let's take a minute and let's look to the future. Because with Nebraska beef, we're not only setting the table, but we are setting the standard. We set the bar for the highest quality beef in the world, produced in the most sustainable fashion. And I just want to elaborate a little bit about what the governor was talking about in what we do. You know, in Nebraska, we're half rangeland and we're half crop ground. So it is the perfect balance of soil, of water, of climate, and like the governor likes to say, most importantly, it's the people. Nebraska is unique in all the nation. That's why we're #1 in beef production, because we have every segment of the industry represented and working together for a common goal to produce the highest quality, most nutritious tasting protein on earth from sunshine, water, and grass. And then we take our corn that our farmers grow and our community spirit, our communities, our processors that take the risk to make the investment to have the plants that produce the highest quality beef that's world renowned. So here's to May is Beef Month. Here's to our ranchers, our farmers, and our workers who turn this into the best product around the world. And let's keep Nebraska beef #1.